Yet the Prince of the Rings was too proud to line up with a large army against the Sky Plague. He had scant regard for the dragon as a threat, no dread at all of its courage or strength, for he had kept going often in the past, through perils and ordeals of every sort. After he had purged Hrothgar's hall, triumphed in Heorot, and beaten Grendel, he outgrappled the monster and his evil kin. One of his cruelest hand-to-hand encounters had happened when Hygelac, king of the Geats, was killed in Friesland. The people's friend and lord, Hrethel's son, slaked a sword blade's thirst for blood. But Beowulf's prodigious gifts as a swimmer guaranteed his safety. He arrived at the shore shouldering 30 battle dresses, the booty he had won. There was little for the Hetware to be happy about as they shielded their faces and fighting on the ground began in earnest. With Beowulf against them, few could hope to return home. Across the wide sea, desolate and alone, the son of Ecgtheow swam back to his people. There Hygd offered him throne and authority as lord of the Ringhord with Hygelac dead. She had no belief in her son's ability to defend their homeland against foreign invaders. Yet there was no way the weakened nation could get Beowulf to give in and agree to be elevated over Heardred as his lord or to undertake the office of kingship. But he did provide support for the prince, honored and minded him until he matured as the ruler of Geatland. Then, over sea roads, exiles arrived, sons of Othere. They had rebelled against the best of all the sea kings in Sweden, the one who held sway in the Scylfing nation, their renowned prince, lord of the Mead Hall. That marked the end for Hygelac's son. His hospitality was mortally rewarded with wounds from a sword. Heardred lay slaughtered, and Onela returned to the land of Sweden, leaving Beowulf to ascend the throne, to sit in majesty and rule over the Geats. He was a good king. In days to come, he contrived to avenge the fall of his prince. He befriended Eadgils when Eadgils was friendless, aiding his cause with weapons and warriors over the wide sea, sending him men. The feud was settled on a comfortless campaign when he killed Onela. And so the son of Ecgtheow had survived every extreme, excelling himself in daring and in danger, until the day arrived when he had to come face to face with the dragon. The lord of the Geats took 11 comrades and went in a rage to reconnoiter. By then he had discovered the cause of the affliction being visited on the people. The precious cup had come to him from the hand of the finder, the one who had started all this strife, and was now added as a 13th to their number. They press-ganged and compelled this poor creature to be their guide. Against his will he led them to the earth vault he alone knew, an underground barrow near the sea billows and heaving waves, heaped inside with exquisite metalwork. The one who stood guard was dangerous and watchful, warden of that trove buried under earth. No easy bargain would be made in that place by any man. The veteran king sat down on the cliff top. He wished good luck to the Geats who had shared his hearth and his gold. He was sad at heart, unsettled yet ready, sensing his death. His fate hovered near, unknowable but certain. It would soon claim his coffered soul, part life from limb. Before long, the prince's spirit would spin free from his body. Beowulf, son of Ecgtheow, spoke. Many a skirmish I survived when I was young, and many times of war. I remember them well. At 7, I was fostered out by my father, left in charge of my people's lord. King Hrethel kept me and took care of me, was open-handed, behaved like a kinsman. While I was his ward, he treated me no worse as a wean about the place than one of his own boys, Herebald and Hethsin, or my own Hygelac. For the eldest, Herebald, an unexpected deathbed was laid out through a brother's doing, when Hethsin bent his horn-tipped bow and loosed the arrow that destroyed his life. He shot wide and buried a shaft in the flesh and blood of his own brother. That offense was beyond redress, a wrong footing of the heart's affections. For who could avenge the prince's life or pay his death price? It was like the misery felt by an old man who has lived to see his son's body swing on the gallows. He begins to keen and weep for his boy, watching the raven gloat where he hangs. He can be of no help. The wisdom of age is worthless to him. Morning after morning he wakes to remember that his child is gone. He has no interest in living on until another heir is born in the hall. Now that his firstborn has entered death's dominion forever, He gazes sorrowfully at his son's dwelling, the banquet hall bereft of all delight. The wind-swept hearthstone, the horsemen are sleeping, the warriors underground. What was is no more. No tunes from the harp, no cheer raised in the yard. Alone with his longing, he lies down on his bed and sings a lament. Everything seems too large, the steadings and the fields. Such was the feeling of loss endured by the Lord of the Geats. After Herebeald's death, he was helplessly placed to set to rights the wrongs committed, could not punish the killer in accordance with the law of the blood feud, although he felt no love for him. Heart-sore, wearied, he turned away from life's joys, chose God's light, and departed, leaving buildings and lands to his sons, as a man of substance will. Then over the wide sea, Swedes and Geats battled and feuded and fought without quarter. Hostilities broke out when Hrethel died. Ongenthau's sons were unrelenting, refusing to make peace, campaigning violently from coast to coast, constantly setting up terrible ambushes around Fresnahill. My own kith and kin avenged these evil events, as everybody knows, but the price was high. One of them paid with his life. Hethsin, Lord of the Geats, met his fate there and fell in the battle. Then, as I have heard, Healak's sword was raised in the morning against Ongenthau, his brother's killer. When Eofa cleft the old Swede's helmet, half did open, he fell, death pale. His feud-calloused hand could not stave off the fatal stroke. The treasures that Healak lavished on me I paid for when I fought, as fortune allowed me, with my glittering sword. He gave me land, and the security land brings. So he had no call to go looking for some lesser champion, some mercenary from among the Gifthas, or the Spear Danes, or the men of Sweden. I marched ahead of him, always there, at the front of the line, and I shall fight like that for as long as I live. As long as this sword shall last, which has stood me in good stead, late and soon, ever since I killed Dayraven the Frank in front of the two armies. He brought back no looted breastplate to the Frisian king, but fell in battle, their standard-bearer high-born and brave. No sword blade sent him to his death. My bare hand stilled his heartbeats and wrecked the bone house. Now blade in hand, sword and sword stroke will essay the horde. Beowulf spoke, made a formal boast for the last time. I risked my life often when I was young. Now I am old, but as king of the people I shall pursue this fight for the glory of winning, if the evil one will only abandon his earth fort and face me in the open. Then he addressed each dear companion one final time, those fighters in their helmets resolute and highborn. I would rather not use a weapon if I knew another way to grapple with the dragon and make good my boast, as I did against Grendel in days gone by. But I shall be meeting molten venom in the fire he breathes, so I go forth in mail shirt and shield. I won't shift a foot when I meet the cave guard. What occurs on the wall between the two of us will turn out as fate, overseer of men, decides. I am resolved. I scorn further words against this skyborn foe. Men-at-arms, remain here on the barrow, safe in your armor, to see which one of us is better in the end at bearing wounds in a deadly fray. This fight is not yours, nor is it up to any man except me to measure his strength against the monster, or to prove his worth. I shall win the gold by my courage, or else mortal combat, doom of battle, will bear your lord away.
The epic saga is reaching its conclusion. I want to say thank you to everyone who's been part of it, particularly my amazing Patreon sponsors, particularly Michael Fittori, Break System BSE, Andre D, Zachary Snowden-Smith, and Zanazira. It's as little as $1 a month to get your own name up here, but you can also support the channel just by leaving a comment, hitting the like button, subscribing, sharing the videos, etc. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and thanks for being you.